Ambassador Zekthar stood at the viewing port of the Galactic Council station, his chitinous plates clicking in agitation as he watched the scene below. The human colony ship had arrived 3 cycles ago, and already everything had changed. Impossible, he muttered, his translator converting the clicks and hisses into standard. Absolutely impossible. Beside him, Council member Yalara's feathers rippled with what her species expressed as deep concern. I warned you about bringing them here. Humans are unpredictable. Dangerous. They were watching the nursery district of Station Kepler 442, where the Raxian cubs played, or rather where they used to play. The Raxians were the Council's greatest warriors, apex predators from a death world where even the plants fought back. Their cubs, even at mere seasons old, possessed retractable claws that could shred duraplast and jaws strong enough to crush bone. For generations, those cubs had been the terror of every species young on Council stations. Parents hurried their children past Raxian nurseries. Playdates were carefully segregated. The Raxian cubs didn't mean harm. They simply didn't understand their own strength. 3 different species had filed formal complaints after cubs accidentally injured their offspring during play. But now, in the center of the district's common area, sat Maya Chen. She was barely into her 2nd decade, a slight human girl with dark hair tied back in what humans called a ponytail. She wore simple clothes and sat cross-legged on a cushion, and around her were arranged 7 Raxian cubs, each easily twice her mass, each possessing enough natural weaponry to end her life in seconds. And they were purring. How is she doing this? Zekthar demanded. The station's observation AI responded in its neutral tone. Subject Chen is performing what humans call grooming behavior. She is currently filing the claws of Raxian cub designated Krishtak. Zekthar watched in horrified fascination as Maya held one of Krishtak's massive paws in her small hands. The cub, who had sent 2 Glorian younglings to medical just last cycle, sat perfectly still while Maya used what appeared to be a primitive abrasive tool on his claws. They're wild beasts, Yalara whispered. We've tried everything. Behavioral modification, environmental controls, pheromone dampeners. Nothing works. They're simply too aggressive, too powerful for integrated socialization. The humans have been here 3 cycles, the AI continued. Subject Chen volunteered for the Youth Integration Program. She was rejected by 4 different species nurseries before approaching the Raxian group. Madness, Zekthar said. Pure human madness. But he couldn't look away. Maya finished with Krishtak's claws and patted his massive head. The cub, this creature that had been labeled a danger to station society, nuzzled against her palm before patting away. Immediately, another cub took his place, presenting her paw with what could only be described as eager anticipation. How did this begin? Yalara asked the AI. Records indicate that on her first visit, Subject Chen observed a cub named Veshitar attempting to retract claws that had grown overgrown and split. The cub was in distress. Subject Chen approached despite warnings from Raxian adults and offered to help. She used a nail file from her personal belongings. Zekthar's translator barely caught his own sharp intake of breath. The Raxian parents allowed this? They were curious. Humans are known for their unusual approach to other species. Subject Chen demonstrated the process on her own fingernails first. The cubs found this fascinating. On the screen, Maya was now brushing the fur of a particularly large cub, while simultaneously filing another's claws. She was talking to them. Her voice too quiet for the sensors to catch, but whatever she was saying had both cubs completely relaxed. This doesn't make sense, Yalara insisted. We're talking about apex predators, cubs that could kill her by accident. Perhaps that's precisely why it worked, a new voice said. Both council members turned to see Captain Sarah Rodriguez, the human colony ship's commander, approaching the viewport. She smiled at their startled expressions. Permission to speak freely? She asked, though she was already continuing. You've been treating those cubs like dangerous weapons. Maya treats them like what they are, children. Children with claws and fangs, Zekthar protested. So? Rodriguez shrugged. Humans grew up alongside predators. We domesticated wolves into dogs. We kept cats as companions. Hell, some humans keep snakes and spiders as pets. We're not intimidated by teeth and claws, we're fascinated by them. She gestured to the screen where Maya was now playing a game with the cubs, something involving a ball of light projected from her datapad. The cubs pounced and tumbled, but whenever they got too rough, Maya simply put her hand up and said something. The cubs immediately calmed. She's teaching them control, Rodriguez explained. Not through force or fear, but through trust. She showed them that having trimmed claws doesn't make them less impressive. It makes them able to interact without accidentally hurting others. She's teaching them that strength controlled is strength respected. But why do they listen to her? Yalara asked. Because she's not afraid of them, but she also doesn't see them as monsters. She sees cubs who need guidance. Rodriguez smiled. Also, turns out Raxian cubs love having their claws filed. The sensation is apparently quite pleasant. They've been uncomfortable for months, but too proud to admit it. As if to prove her point, another cub had joined the queue, this one shouldering past two others to get to Maya faster. There's a waiting list now, the AI reported. 17 cubs have requested appointments with Subject Chen for claw maintenance. Additionally, 12 cubs from other predator species have submitted requests. Zekthar felt something unfamiliar, the sensation his species experienced when confronting a paradigm shift. This human child is solving a problem that has plagued council stations for generations. With a nail file and patience, Rodriguez agreed. Very human traits, actually. We're very good at looking at something everyone says is impossible and asking, but have you tried being nice to it? Below, Maya had finished her grooming session. The cubs gathered around her for what humans called a group hug, though it looked more like a pile of fur, claws, and one small human girl who was laughing. The Raxian parents watched from nearby, their own fearsome features softened with something that translated clearly across species. Gratitude. I need to file a report, Zekthar said quietly. The council should know about this. File it under humans, Rodriguez suggested. We have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick, but sometimes, the softest voice is the one that changes everything. As they watched, Maya stood and bowed to the cubs, who returned the gesture with surprising grace. Then she picked up her small kit of grooming tools and waved goodbye, already checking her datapad for tomorrow's appointments. The wild beasts of Station Kepler 442 had found their caretaker, and she was a human girl with a nail file, infinite patience, and the revolutionary idea that maybe, just maybe, everyone deserves a little kindness, even those with the sharpest claws.